Glad to be here. Hello, my name's Charles Burns. Welcome to another exciting episode of Rating Men I've Dated with Charles Burns. I'm your host, Charles Burns. I'm not sure if I mentioned that my name is Charles Burns. This is Season 1, Episode 2. We're not going in chronological order. I'm sorry if by talking about the first guy I ever sort of kind of dated, it led to the impression that we'd go in chronological order. We're not. We're jumping ahead. We're jumping years into the future. We're going to Episode 2. Kurtis. I've in my life known many Kurtises. I'm talking about one specific one, so I think that this will absolve me because I know a lot of Kurtises, so no one could possibly know which Kurtis I'm talking about now. This Kurtis I dated for about 3 months. I would rate the seriousness of our relationship as it was like that point right before you become semi-serious. We were at that point because we were like 3 months in, but that point right before you become semi-serious, that's the point we were at. We had just said I love you to each other. That's where we were. The way I met Kurtis was I did an art project. Actually, I did an art project on dating called a social sculpture. I tried to go on 25 dates in 31 days, following a set of pre-designed rules that I got off Google mostly. I met him during that art project. That's how we started dating. And then after the art project, we dated for about 3 more months. Moving on, we now have our rating. We're going to go through the ratings, the same ones we did for the other guy. It's 7 different parts. First up, we have lover points. How good would I rate him in bed on a scale of 1 to 10? And I would say Kurtis was a solid 6.2. That was a 6.2. And I'm not going to kiss and tell, so that's all you're ever going to get from me from lover points. That's about it. I'm going to say his romance points were out of this world. I will say that I had some of my funnest dates ever in Brooklyn with Kurtis. We did a date-off where we tried to out-date each other and get better and more fun dates. And it was super fun because it made me have to plan a date, and it also made him have to plan a date, and we just did a lot of really fun things together. So I would say on romance, Kurtis would also be an 8. I'm going to say Kurtis, 8 on romance. Thank you, bro. As far as handsomeness goes, his handsomeness is about a 4.7. I remember he had a very rectangular shaped head. Like a rectangle shaped head. It's very rectangular. Helpfulness. Kurtis and I weren't really at a stage where we were really evaluating each other's helpfulness in life, but I would say that Kurtis was average at being helpful. I'm going to give him a 5 on that. He was a 20-something-year-old man. He wasn't super helpful. He wasn't super harmful, I guess. That was his main good quality. I'd be a 5 for helpfulness. As far as stability goes, Kurtis was one of the most stable guys I'd ever dated. He had a good job. He wasn't doing a lot of drugs. He wasn't addicted to anything that I knew about. Yeah, up until that point, I'd never dated someone so stable. I'd been dating artists and musicians and people who didn't have their shit together, and he had his own apartment, and he had a regular job, and he had a career, and he was very, very stable. I would say that Kurtis was probably pretty stable. I'm going to give him a 7.26 for stability points on that. And then as far as faithfulness goes, Kurtis broke up with me after the first time he saw me cry. He saw me cry, and then he broke up with me shortly after that. I'm not sure what that says about his faithfulness, but I know that it does say something, so I'm going to give his faithfulness a 6. And as far as endings go, it ended great because we just saw each other, we got each other's stuff, and then we never talked again. He tried to email me a few times, but I just always made sure I sent back really weird email replies so that he wouldn't really keep emailing me. It always works. You should give it a shot. The ending was pretty epic because, it's nice to just have a good, clean cut, and it's really hard to actually do that, but you can when you meet someone through an art project, and then they break up with you after the first time they see you cry. As they say, all is fair in love and war. Would I recommend dating him again? Okay, this is what I learned. I asked him when I was dating about his past relationships, and all of them, he told me, were about 3 months long. And then he dated me for about 3 months and then dumped me. So I think that there was a pattern I could have seen if I had been looking for it. But I just didn't know how to look for those kind of patterns yet. But that's one thing I learned from dating Kurtis. Future me is now going to tally up all the points. Go, future Charlie, do the math. And now we have the grand total. Kurtis's total is boom, 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 boom. This is Kurtis's total score. This is how much he could have gotten out of those 7 categories. So good job, Kurtis. This is your final score. Next week, we're going to be doing another dude. So join us next week for more Rating Men I've Dated with Charles Burns. I'm your host, Charles Burns, and I can't wait to continue doing this with you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hello. It's really what I remember about him, was his rectangular shaped head. That's what I'm going to say about Kurtis.